welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us again, as always, on Saturday mornings, bright and early, for the Winner's Circle, where we are going to be reviewing AEW Collision from September 6th, Saturday, September 6th, and AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday, September 10th. If you're new to Workhorse Wrestling Network and you're here on the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, hit that bell on the YouTube channel. That's the best way to make sure you get notified every time we put something up on the YouTube channel. Channel. If you're watching on Twitch, we appreciate you over there. Give us a follow over there. No matter where you're watching, if you want to chime in the chat, we love to hear from you guys. We are going to be trying to keep this to a tight 2 hours.
10 hours.
In an attempt to do that, without further ado, we will crack into AEW Collision from Saturday, September 6th, last Saturday night. What were you saying?
Say, crack it open.
Crack it open. For some reason, I only have audio on one ear. I don't know what's going on here. It's weird. Hold on for 1 second.
No worries.
Say something.
Hi.
Yes, now I have audio on both ears. Much better. For some reason, I only had it in the right ear. So, all right. So, Collision, Saturday, September 6th. We are still at the ECW Arena, the 2300 Arena, the ECW Arena, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Tony Schiavone, Nigel McGuinness, and Mr. Hard Nipples himself, Matt Menard. We kick off the show with a match that I definitely was not all that interested in seeing. As you guys know, if you watched last week's episode or listened to last week's episode of Winner's Circle, Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. I guess technically this is now the fourth time. And before this, Daniel Garcia was 0-3. Marina Shafir's with Moxley. These two go at it. It's it's all right. I mean, I thought it was an okay match.
Really?
I'd have to go back and watch the other two in comparison to the others. I thought both men looked really good. I thought the back and forth was solid. I thought Jon Moxley let Daniel Garcia look really good. I was definitely disappointed. I thought at the very end when Garcia rolled him up that he was actually going to get the 3 count. But then just because I figured they can't make him lose 4 times, but then Moxley reversed it and do a roll up of his own for the 1, 2, 3 in a little over 16 minutes. 16:41 is what this says the official time of the match was.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, again, I'd have to go back and watch the other ones because I'm not, I don't remember exactly like all the action and all of them, but I feel like, this was at least as good as the other ones, if not maybe better. Daniel Garcia continues to progress as a wrestler in general. And he's honing his craft as he gets older. Moxley is who he is. I think against technical guys, you obviously get a more technical Moxley, and he can do that. What I think makes Moxley and so kind of unique is his ability to switch gears from style to style and to have such a versatile arsenal. The fact that he can really do kind of a traditional technical wrestling match if he has to. He can do a death match if he has to. He can do, a more stand-up, slug-it-out slugfest, whether that's not, and I'm not talking death match style or extreme style, just, against a harder-hitting opponent. Yeah, exactly. So, that's what makes Moxley so amazing, right, is that he can do everything. And I thought he looked good here. I thought Daniel Garcia looked good for Daniel Garcia, but unfortunately, as you might expect, Jon Moxley did beat him again, and now we're 0-4. Talk about the match first, and then we'll talk about the post-match.
I enjoyed this way more than you did, but I'm still invested, so there's that. But no, I totally agree with everything you said about Moxley and Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia is progressing, and Moxley is that dude. He can't switch it up. And for people who are like, why is he still here? Because people keep getting hurt. people keep getting hurt. If a nice roster of
Yeah.
people can just be healthy for at least a good 4 months, then maybe he can actually leave. But people keep getting hurt, and people keep making crackhead decisions emotionally, and that's why he's still here. But nevertheless, but no, I love this. This was very, very good, and it played more to Garcia's strength. I love the last part where Moxley was getting pissed off. He was going back and forth outside the ring, and then he just smushed Daniel Garcia's face. It's like you do know that's where that's the person you're competing against. So that made me laugh. That made me great and laugh. And yeah, I thought Moxley was going to win, so there was no surprise here. But this was great.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Moxley was going to win too, which was why I wasn't overly excited about this, just because I don't really need to see somebody lose to somebody 4 times. But I do think that the ending happened. I mean, they said he's already lost. He was already 0-3 before this, and now it's 0-4. That's what they said.
Like now, if they're talking about something from the past, don't do that, because I ain't gonna remember 2023 if they're doing that. But yeah, I know it was on Dynamite, and it was this one. Maybe it was a third. I highly doubt it was 4. There we go. This year.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, this is probably the 3rd this year, and then 1 last year, I think. I'd have to, like I said, I'd have to go back and look to see, but I did think at the very end, because I thought, they're really not going to have him lose to this guy, 3 or 4 times, whichever we can argue about, however it is, but 4 times. That's what I heard them say. That really at that final moment that it looked like that roll up, he might actually get. Kind of a sneak win over Moxley, but of course Moxley reversed it and got the win. So, I guess these come out as they're supposed to. Post-match, Garcia is really crushed, takes the mic from Tony Schiavone, and I thought, oh my God, please. The whole time he was talking, I'm thinking to myself, please don't say it again. Please don't say I need Jon Moxley one more time. Please don't say it again. And luckily he didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want him to say, it's not good enough to walk away all frustrated. He said, why every time he gets kicked, every time he gets put down, he keeps getting back up. It's been a good 5 years, but sometimes good isn't enough. And, there is some legitimate, legitimacy to that statement, especially for a guy like him who has struggled to get over in some regards. He's been good, but sometimes good isn't good enough. And, against Jon Moxley, it definitely hasn't been yet. Whether that's actually, at least in the eyes of the booker that's deciding this. I mean, Daniel Garcia is not at a point where Tony Khan wants to let him beat, Jon Moxley. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what this means for Daniel Garcia. I'm wondering, I don't know. I mean, if I'm Daniel Garcia, I'm not sure exactly where to go from here, but we'll see what ends up happening for him. So, anything about what Daniel Garcia said?
Listen, I'm in the same boat as you are with the whole please. I don't need a whole rah speech and stuff. Especially from you, especially since we've already done this like 2 or 3 years ago with Jericho and Danielson. So it really was like, sir, I like my I was hoping that this was gonna be what you call it, stretched out more. I'm like, please. I really was like, let's hit it and quit it. Either make a decision or not. And so that was my decision. Like, are you really going to go back into obscurity for a minute and come back? Like, sir, we don't have time for this. That's literally what my position was. We do not have time for this, especially from you.
Yeah. Let's see. We have Big Bill. I'll talk about this after I talk about the segment, but Big Bill was here. He says he hit rock bottom in this building and the fans gave him nothing. Doesn't surprise him because he comes from a real city, New York. Someone else around here does that too, and he's officially calling out the last name in the world I really expected to hear out of his mouth at this moment. Eddie Kingston. Before he said the name, I was like, "Oh, this is a forgettable Bill promo. Like it's nothing special." And then he said Eddie Kingston, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I'm assuming that he doesn't just get that from nowhere, right? So obviously that's got to imply Eddie's at least talked about coming back or something. So Otherwise, why mention him? So he must have got the okay from the back room to say something. I still don't know why it's Big Bill that's calling him out. None of that really makes any sense. But
That part?
I guess it's a way to tell fans that it looks like Eddie might be coming back. And thank God, right? I mean, it's been a long time. I think the article I said says it's been 18 months since we've seen Eddie Kingston on AEW television. So, and he's one of my all-time favorites. And when he's wrestling, he's at the very top of my list. So when talk about people that are coming back or people that have been gone, and I want to come back, he's at the very top of that list. So, if this is indeed him coming back, I'm excited. I don't know what the program will be with Big Bill, but I'm excited if he's coming back. So, what do you think of this promo?
Big Bill? Like out of all the time, like, no offense, I'm not sure where Tony Khan sees Eddie Kingston on the top of the food chain, but at Workhorse Wrestling Network, I think it's for everybody. He's top 10, maybe top 5 on a good program, but definitely top 10. So, like, I agree with everything you just said. When Big Bill said, "I need someone from New York," no, I was like, who from New York? Eddie Kingston was not on the bingo freaking card. But I guess what's the word? However we get him back, come back. But yeah, Big Bill.
That led into our second match of the night. FTR versus the returning Tommy Billington, nephew of the Dynamite Kid, the original Dynamite Kid from the British Bulldogs. He also goes by Dynamite Kid. And his partner, Adam Priest, who we did see on Collision. Was it Collision
Dynamite.
last week? Oh, he was on both, or he was on Dynamite? Okay, he was on Dynamite last week.
He was on Dynamite trying with the people, the wrestlers and security that was trying to break Edge and Christian and FTR up, and then I think Dax was the one who shoved them, and then he was like, I don't know who you think this is, and that's how it started.
That's how this match came about. So Stokely's here with FTR. Let's see. There's a lot of back and forth. Billington, I thought, looked good for being back. Let's see. And FTR gets a win with the Powerplex. They get the pin on Adam Priest at about 14 minutes. A returning Tommy Billington, I thought looked good. He's been gone for a while. I don't know. I remember they were talking a little bit about it. I wasn't totally, I watch it as I'm working. So like sometimes I don't catch all the commentary. So I didn't totally hear exactly what made up all of the reasoning for him being gone for as long as he had been. I think he might have been injured and some other stuff, but he's back, it looks like, and that's exciting. Obviously, I'm not overly excited for him and necessarily Adam Priest. Not that there's anything wrong with Adam Priest. He doesn't necessarily move that needle like that for me. So when I think about who I would rather see him with, there's other guys. I don't know what that looks like per se. Yeah, I thought for what this was fine. FTR gets a win because they're one of the best tag teams on the planet at the moment. And they're going into All Out against, Christian and Cajun Copeland, right? So they're not going to take a loss this close to All Out. So real quick, we got Jake here. Welcome, Jake. He says the Death Riders may get another person. And then he says today. Interesting. So maybe tonight on Collision, they might get another person. Is there someone that you guys are hinting at? Did I miss something?
On Dynamite, I think they officially got, on Dynamite, they got officially another person. But I'm not sure if there's another person on top of that.
Okay. All right.
They got another person, yes.
So we will get to that when we get to Dynamite. Let's see. What do you want to say about FTR and Tommy Billington versus Tommy Billington and Adam Priest?
What is there left to say about FTR right now? They are at the top of their game in the wrestling tag team division. This is really why they should have the belts. I love Brodito. I love them. But more so, if the belts are on FTR, other teams are immediately elevated. Where it's like, oh, you come back and you're gonna have a good to great match. Like it really is an easy bet to place that you're gonna have a good to great match. That's why, yeah, the whole outcome at Forbidden Door was kind of wonky because it's like, really? Listen, I love Brody King and Bandito is good, but it's like for the division to get back on top, you need to have that strong tag team. And but FTR in the position where they can just go out there and have a good match without the belt. So that's good on them too. But this was a great match. This was a very good match.
Yeah, I mean it's a double edged sword for me with FTR, with teams like FTR and to a lesser extent the Young Bucks, but even them too. Like when you're as good as they are, I'm not sure that they need the titles because they draw so many eyes no matter what. But at the same time, it's hard to not have the tag team titles on the best tag team on the planet, or at least in your company at the moment. Like, it's weird to not have it on one of the two tag teams that are the best in your company at the moment. And I understand anyone can beat anybody on any given day. That's the impression you want to give, but it's like a lot of times that doesn't really translate, and it doesn't make sense, especially when you have multiple matches, and you can only keep the best of the best away from the titles for so long. So. Let's see, another Outrunners promo. They're out in nature. They run into some boys and Dalton Castle, who apparently is back and ready to break some hearts. I don't know how I necessarily feel about the Outrunners with Dalton Castle. Not that I have a problem with it. I just hadn't thought about it before. But I'm definitely happy to have Dalton Castle back. I don't know if I don't really watch Ring of Honor like that, so maybe he's just been back behind the paywall all this time, but it feels like it's been a while since we've seen him on AEW television. So if he was injured or if he's just back and he's going to be a mainstay, I'm definitely here for that. I really like Dalton Castle. So, and him with the Outrunners, they're definitely, once I saw them on the screen together, I thought this can work because the Outrunners are pretty crazy and outlandish too. But that's not what I expected. Tonight, this episode of Collision was very unexpected. It had some very unexpected things for me. So, what do you think of this little promo? Or cinematic vignette?
We're in the same boat, but unlike Eddie Kingston, I'm here for this ride of Dalton Castle being the one to be here and joining the out like it really is like, okay, let's see where this goes. Like it's literally that's the boat I'm in because, like you said, they're both so charismatic and they're charismatic in two different ways. So we're here for it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
See what happens. Okay. Then we have Jon Moxley in a promo talking about how simple-minded it is to think the belts matter, and now he's ready to get rid of Darby Allin for good. The match is on for All Out, and Moxley promises to put him in the ground. For me, this wasn't one of his better promos. I thought he was a little all over the place and trying a little too hard to look a little too crazy. Like I was trying to follow the words. It was a lot of words to get to what he wanted to say. And some of it felt a little rambly and some of it felt a little but it's still Moxley, and so he got his point across. What do you think of this promo?
It was good. And even though yes, I'm stuttering, I'm in the same boat as trying to get to the meat of it. The meat of it was I don't like when people like belts people who think belts matter, they do matter. So please stop saying that belts don't matter. That is not a concept we want to steer away from because you're fighting for something in this company. But nevertheless, I like how he was like more so to the point of Darby said, "I'm taking everything away from you." Garcia says, "I want everything away from you." He's like, "What do I have? I have nothing. I'm not champion anymore." It's like what do I have? And then him just being mad because on another planet, on another time, if you hadn't uh choked, suffocated Danielson, you and Darby would be on the same team. So like, you're supposed to be my guy. Supposed to be in the trenches with me. And so I understand. I understand that. I do. So the meat of it, I understood. But I do not like who are like, titles don't mean anything,
Yeah.
or in the construct. Like, stop saying that. They do matter. But this was a fine promo though.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? I understand that it's not technically a traditional sport, but the idea is that the kayfabe idea is that it is a sport and that you're actually competing. And when it comes to a real sport and competition, the only thing that truly matters is winning and winning titles. Could you imagine if someone, I mean, don't get me wrong, they say it with their actions a lot of times because of the way they spend money or the draft picks they make or all those things. But could you imagine if an NFL team said, I don't care about winning titles? It's all just about whatever. Like, I mean, and some have said things that are remote to that, or even a basketball team was like, I don't care about it. It's not about winning championships. Anyone that says that is stupid. That's the only reason you're here. The only reason you're here to compete in AEW is to win the title. That's it. If you're here for some esoteric, personal, whatever, then I'm not even, I mean, that means nothing to me. So, we had our first women's match of the night, trying to have 8-woman tag match with the villains versus, I guess, the good guys at the moment.
Yes.
So Triangle of Madness.
Yes.
Triangle of Madness. Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Thekla. And they are accompanied by Megan Bain, who has Penelope Ford in tow. And they are facing Toni Storm, your AEW Women's World Champion. Mina Shirakawa. Chris Statlander, who can't decide if she's a face or a heel. It feels like she's been back and forth for like that, back and forth, like right on the fence for like the last 6 months, 2 years. So like, which way is she gonna go? Because if she joins the Death Riders, they're a heel, so she's got to be a heel, right? So, and then Harley Cameron, our favorite cat on the face girl. So. I cannot with her at the moment. She is so hysterical, dude. I mean, she might be the best thing on AEW television at the moment. So definitely in the women's division, she's the funnest thing. So this is an 8-woman tag match. You guys know how I feel. I've beaten the dead horse on all these shows, on all of our shows, about how I feel about multi-person matches. But again, it is what it is. I thought this was fine. I thought the ending was okay. Let's see. Julia Hart got pinned. So I guess, it is what it is. Julia Hart and Sky Blue are probably the ones that can take the pin out of that team. Thekla's not taking the pin at the moment. And Megan Bain's not taking the pin. Thekla's at the crux of everything that's going on, basically, in the women's division at the moment. So she's definitely not taking the pin. And I don't, if the villains are losing, you really only got those two. So out of those two, I'd still rather see Sky Blue take Sky Blue. Take the pin, but Julia Hart's fine too. I mean, it is what it is. So, what do you think of the match?
It was a good match. They changed up just a little bit, but we have seen an array of these same people in a multi-woman match. So it's like, come on, y'all, we can do better. Storyline wise and just conceptually wise. Come on, we can do better. Yeah, I barely enjoyed this match. Everybody looked great, which was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said it last week. I'm getting frustrated and tired of the Wheeler Yuta Statlander stuff, and it just kind of continues to drag on. So, let's see, post-match.
But real quick, I'm not opposed to them and Statlander. I don't know why I wanted to linger out, because more so, I don't know why. Because like you said, so Yuta and Marina came out real quick before the match and whispered sweet nothings in Statlander's ear before the match started, and it's like, what are y'all saying? What are y'all saying? Is it helping or not? But yeah, maybe because I kind of know where the story could go. And I'm not opposed to it, where it's like, okay, is it Willow versus, are you going to choose Willow, or are you going to choose the Death Riders and stuff like that? But I'm not opposed to it this way.
Post-match, the fight continues. The Triangle of Madness is getting the upper hand, and here comes Jamie Hayter. She comes out from behind the curtain. I think it was Sky Blue and Julia maybe that ran at her, and she gave them a double clothesline. And then she gets into the ring with Thekla. They start going at it. Toni Storm eventually makes her way to her feet, and Thekla gets out of the ring. And Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter are in the ring with Chris Statlander. And Toni Storm basically says, everyone's complaining about, everyone wants a shot at Toni Storm in the AEW Women's Championship, including the women on her team. And so she says, since she doesn't have a match scheduled yet for All Out, she says, you want to go nuts? And points at Jamie Hayter. And says, you want to go nuts? And points at Chris Statlander. And says, you want to go nuts? Or get nuts, at Thekla. And says, let's do it. All four of you, or all the three of you, the four of us, in a fatal four-way for the Women's World Championship at All Out. What'd you think of this?
I love the only person that was on board was Thekla. I love Jamie Hayter standing like, what the hell is wrong with you, chick? So it's like, but in classic Toni Storm fashion, well, bitches, let's get ballistic. And it's like,
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that final line. Yep.
But no, like, and it's two sides of a coin where it's like, this is classic Toni Storm. She is crazy, so we accept. Yeah, let's do a 4-way. On the other hand, why are we doing a 4-way? Why are we like we really couldn't just choose one person? We have to do a 4-way. But you know what? It's fine. Fatal 4-way. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we were talking about her not having a match. What was that, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, week and a half ago? She didn't have a match, and she still didn't have a match as of before this. But it's like, and we were talking about, who do they have and how are they going to heat somebody up real quick like that, or how they're going to. There's an easy way to do that, right? So, I mean, you just do a fatal 4-way. So, and if the goal is somehow, and I'm not sure that it is, but if the goal is to take the belt off of Toni Storm, this is a good environment to do it in. It's very hard to beat the champion one-on-one. It's much easier to pin somebody that isn't the champion and win the belt that way. So, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but with the way they've been pushing her, it really wouldn't surprise me if somehow Thekla ends up coming out of that with the title. I don't think so, but anybody besides Toni Storm, I can see it being Thekla, just because of how hot she is at the moment, the way they've been positioning her and pushing her. But I'm here for the match. I think it should be fun.
Yeah. No, a great trivia question would be, when has it ever, let me be very specific, has a World Heavyweight Championship changed hand in a fatal 4-way? I really don't think so. Because it really is like, do we really want it that way?
And when I heard it, I was thinking, didn't we just do this didn't we just do this with Toni Storm? And oh no, that was Mercedes Moné. So you did it with the other title at the last pay-per-view. You had a fatal 4-way. So, I mean,
but it all leads to do freaking better, bro. It's like this is because y'all don't know what to do with your people. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Okay, fatal 4-ways all around because we're running through all the chicks because you don't want to do a decent freaking program.
Yeah, so that's definitely legitimate criticism for sure. All that said, I think the match should be fun. I'm excited for it. So, the Bang Bang Gang is here, but Austin Gunn is tired of the cutouts, tired of the playing around and all the bad luck, so they get rid of the cutouts. Now it's time to find out what's next for the Bang Bang, for Juice and Austin Gunn, sans Jay White and Colton Gunn. What it sounds like to me is that, I couldn't tell if the implication was that they're coming back sooner than later, or that this is because they're going to be gone longer than we thought. I almost am leaning towards it feels like they're going to be gone longer than we thought. So it's kind of like they're almost moving on a little bit. I felt like the cardboard cutouts were like, okay, they should be coming back soon, so let's make sure and keep Jay White and Colton Gunn kind of in people's minds and remembering that they're part of the Bang Bang Gang. But so I don't know. How'd you take this and what'd you think of this?
More so, I do think that on the latter side of, we didn't know how long they were going to be out. And so us doing the cardboard cutouts every week is like, how long can you go with this gimmick? So it is a smart move to be like, let's try to do something else. I would love for Juice and Colton to be together because I don't think they'll be better apart. That's just my thing. Oh, maybe Juice can do better, but sorry, Austin. But Austin, I don't think he can do a lot by himself. So I do want them to still be together, but it is like okay, like more so. Let's let's not wait for the return and let's do something together now. And I'm all here for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I just hope that at least Jay White is coming back sooner than later. Let's put it that way. Mercedes Moné is not happy with Rio. So how about Riho and Alex Windsor face Mercedes Moné and Riho's mentor, Emi Sakura, on Dynamite on Wednesday night. And of course, that's what we ended up getting on Dynamite. We'll talk about that on Dynamite. What do you think about this little Mercedes Moné promo? And what do you think about the return of Riho and Emi Sakura?
It was decent. Where have these chicks been? Like I know some people are like, well, we don't care. Yeah, some people actually do care. Now with Riho, evidently she was hurt. That even like it wasn't even a visa issue by itself. She was also hurt. But Emmy Sakura is like that panorama era. Even though yes, it was it was sickness all around. Wrestling wise, it was a good time because you saw a lot of people that you didn't see on television. It felt like after the world opened back up, it's like, all right, bye. It's like, no, we actually still care about these people. So it was very interesting and me excited that to see people again.
Yeah, I was always very disappointed with what I felt like was an ineffective use of Emi Sakura. Like she is way better than I feel like they ever booked her, even when she was here a lot. So I feel like as soon as Riho or the other woman that he thought, she worked well with were kind of gone or not around, all of a sudden she doesn't have anything to do. She's one of those women that just ends up in catering, right? I mean, I don't know what she's been doing. Maybe she has been injured, maybe she hasn't, I don't know. But it feels like she, hasn't been around for a long time and they never really used her right the first time, so it kind of doesn't surprise me. And that big surprise, Riho's back, so here's Emi, right? It's like you can't have as soon as you bring Rio back, it's okay to bring Emi back, but not just to have Emi be on her own. And to be fair, by the time Emi came to AEW, she was already older and had, fewer days in front of her than she did behind her as far as wrestling goes. But still, I mean, she was still doing a good job in her matches on Dark and Dark Elevation. And, so I mean, and even when she was on Dynamite or Collision, she was, so I never quite understood why they didn't do more with her, but at least she's back, I guess. So that's good to see.
Yeah.
Don Callis is here with the protostar in the pink suit to brag about what happened on Dynamite the week before and about how Josh Alexander is ready to take out Hangman Page in their grudge match next week on Collision. He further says he isn't impressed with Mark Briscoe. There's no way he's going to win tonight on Collision in our match. And he thinks that the next step for him is the world title at All Out. And he says it's where Page got his first title shot. So Fletcher sees it as poetic that it's his first opportunity as well, and that he's going to be the one to take it from Hangman Page and have both the TNT title as well as the AEW World Championship. What do you think of this Kyle Fletcher promo?
It was fine. I do not think yelling is not yelling. See, that's why I think about it. Kyle Fletcher's strong suit is not promos just yet. He doesn't suck, but I still think it's his strong suit. Like when the people were like, when the crowd started chanting, put some socks on. He's like, funny, very funny. I'm like, see. If that was MJF, something would have happened like off the rip about that. But he just dismissed it. But I was like, yeah, but on the flip side, I was like, hey, if you don't have nothing, don't try to go back for it. And the intensity of it, I like the story they're telling with him and Hangman about him be in the same boat as Heyman when he was younger. But the whole say my full name, I think, like, can someone tell this dude that's not a good line? We've been saying your full name. I don't understand what more you want us to do. What is your middle name? I get, like, you wanted to put the middle name in there? Kyle Bartholomew Fletcher, Kyle Jehoshaphat Fletcher. I don't understand. We've been saying Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that's dumb. But besides that, it was decent. It was decent.
No, I agree. I mean, it feels like, and then he had another. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But he also on Dynamite had a long promo, right? And so this is basically two shows back to back, where it feels like they're trying to get him time on the mic in front of the camera to kind of develop, right? To continue to grow a little bit, which is fine. I mean, he's getting better in all aspects, and he's continuing to work on the mic. This definitely wasn't perfect. Like you said, a little too shouty, a little too yelly. The final line about say my name. I don't say my full name. I don't even know what that, like you said, I don't even know what it means. Like, it's not even obvious what we're missing. So in that regard, it falls flat, right? So if it was clear what we were missing and what we were not doing, then it would make sense, but it doesn't make any sense. So, in that regard, it definitely fell flat on that aspect. I think, he's okay. I still think that, like you said, he needs a fair amount of work. And I think that Tony Khan's decided the way he's going to get that work is in front of the camera doing it for us. So, which, okay. It is what it is. I mean, the reality is that you positioned him in such a way that with the nature of wrestling, it's hard to not have him have promos because he's such a big part of what's going on. But he's with Don Callis, so just let Don Callis talk. If you want to do a Kyle Fletcher promo that's like 2 minutes, let Don Callis talk for a minute and a half and let Kyle Fletcher talk for 30 seconds or something. You know what I mean? You don't need 2 minutes of Kyle Fletcher yet. He's not ready to hold that to hold it all himself yet. So,
I know. Don Callis comparing him to Kenny Omega, sir, get off of it, all the way off.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see, when Kyle Fletcher's career is over, what it ends up looking like. But he's definitely not Kenny Omega yet, and he's got a long way to go to fill, Omega's shoes. So, that being said, wrestling wise, he's definitely on that trajectory. I mean, he's pretty phenomenal in the ring. So, but he needs a lot of work in some other aspects still. So, but he's only 26 years old, like you said. So, we'll see. Red hologram is coming. I'm still not sure if that means there's a second hologram coming, or if this hologram turns into red hologram, but Paragon seems to think that there's a second one coming because right after the hologram thing on the red hologram Titantron, whatever video it was, Paragon and the conglomeration are in the back, and Kyle O'Reilly thinks it's awesome that they're cloning luchadors. So my impression is, and I think he's referring to the previous segment about hologram. So I guess my guess is that we're going to get a second hologram, or red one, and maybe there'll be a good hologram and a bad hologram. What'd you take from this? I mean, just about the hologram stuff. Then I'll talk a little bit about the Paragon.
If this is his brother, sure, but if it's someone totally different, no, boo. I don't like the whole luchador thing. I'm not sure. I don't know the rules. What are the rules? But it is what I know. They take their name seriously. I know that much. So I guess the first hologram gave them permission to do this. I'm fairly interested. We'll see what happens. Like the whole double person playing the same role. I ain't gonna say it worn off, but it has been like, okay. The story hasn't been taking the world on wrestling. They're selling the wrestling world on fire. It was a luchador or someone double. Like there's no real person. That's never really a good, a good story.
Yeah, I agree. I guess we'll see what ends up happening. Paragon on top, in the conglomeration on top of talking about cloning luchadors. Roderick Strong isn't happy about it, doesn't want to hear it. He's happy that Ishii is going, Big Tom is going back to Japan. And he's all pissy and walks away. And Kyle looks at everyone else and says, they'll get back together and conglomerate later. This is like, I think, the third time we've seen roughly this same kind of little vignette where, the conglomeration is kind of on one side of the street and Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong are on the other. And Kyle's trying to kind of bring Kyle in, Kyle's trying to bring Roderick in and it's not happening. And Roderick walks away all irritated. I don't know how many more times I need to see this. Like, Tony Khan loves to do these things over and over. He likes to beat a dead horse to a certain extent, right? This feels very MJF with the Hurt Business, Hurt Syndicate-ish. Like, it's, very like Ricochet trying to recruit everybody before he finally finds the Gates of Agony. It's like, hey, this is clearly some formulaic thing that Tony Khan likes to do, and I'm not necessarily here for it. So, what do you think of this little segment? Beyond just the luchador stuff.
Roderick, you're being a dick. It's like at one point in time, we feel your feelings. We know you're sad that Adam Cole is here, but it's not here. But now, like, oh, sir, you're being a dick now. It's like, I feel like that's what Kyle should tell him.
Yeah. And at some point, it's like, fine, then just go ahead and go do your own thing. Like, why you keep pressuring him? Like, he clearly doesn't want to be there. They don't necessarily want him there, so just let it go. Like,
but here's the thing: he went up on them. They had their own conversation, and he the one who went up in the conversation. Anybody ask you for your opinion?
Right? Anthony Bowens is bragging about what he's been doing lately, but Jerry Lynn comes in to says Bowens has been slipping. It is time to find out what's missing. So this was kind of like Bowens, who's clearly had what I would call a 3/4 heel turn, but not a full 100% heel turn. Because the final step of the heel turn is going to be punching Billy Gunn in his face. I'm sure that's the ultimate. He's already beat up Max Caster twice, right? So. Now, but Jerry Lynn says, no. Going to the dark side is not what you need to do. You need to get your head on and come back to being the Anthony Bowens that you were before. What do you think about this?
It was cool. I love the progression of the story, or more so the progression of Anthony Bowens' character, which is always a good thing. And we'll see what happens next. When you do that, it usually leads to a match. So I'm very interested in who he's going to face after this promo.
Agreed. It's time for our main event. It is Dat Boy, I'll call him Dat Boy, Mark Briscoe, versus Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha. Konosuke Takeshita, your G1, your 2025 G1 champion. Let's see. There was a fair amount that happened. We had Don Callis, we had MJF, we had a lot of back and forth action. Josh Alexander was at ringside. Through all that mess, although really ultimately MJF did cost Mark Briscoe the match, Takeshita hits a raging fire for the pin right at about 18 minutes. Even with the MJF stuff and him ultimately costing him Mark Briscoe the match, I really, really liked this. I thought this was really solid. I mean, like I said, I knew of the Briscoes, right? I knew who they were. I'd watched Ring of Honor, so I'd seen them there plenty of times, but I wasn't what I would call a Briscoe aficionado or any of those kind of things. I didn't have a real relationship with them at all. Yeah. And when they first came to AEW, it was some of their past stuff. I was always a little cold on them just because of their gimmick and some of their past stuff left me a little cold. I don't do country redneck like that. I don't, you know what I mean? That's not really my, and especially the Confederate flag stuff earlier in their career. So that kind of turned me off to them, which is part of why I never really paid a whole lot of attention to them, even when I watched things that they were on, and then they came to AEW, and I was a little but after what it feels like, taking a lot of responsibility and a lot of growing, and it seems like changing, especially for Mark Briscoe. Obviously, we don't know because Jay Briscoe's no longer with us. Rest in peace. But it looks like Mark has come a long way. There's definitely no more Confederate flags and any of the stuff he's doing that I see anymore like that. Right. So both of them did, and all those things. So, and he's talked about growing and becoming, a better person, and, all those things. And, so if you can grow, I can accept that. So I'm coming to really, really like Mark Briscoe, and I'm coming to really enjoy his matches. And I'm very happy with the way that Tony Khan is positioning him, because he's got his fingers in the main event picture in many respects, or at least entangled with main event guys. Yes. Yeah. Well, with main event guys, I mean, this thing with MJF is a top 5 guy in the company at the moment. And right now he's MJF came down to cost him this match. That's how much he's in MJF's head at the moment. Right. So that's a good thing as far as for Mark Briscoe booking. I mean, I always thought of them as, tag team, and that, I was really worried for Mark once Jay was gone, because Jay was always kind of the more personality, the better wrestler to a certain extent. I don't know if that still stands now. I mean, we won't ever know, but Mark Briscoe's really good in the ring right now. But at the time, before Jay was gone, it was like, oh, they're just a tag team and Jay's the better of the two, right? Like, and if there's going to be a singles run, it's probably going to be Jay's, right? And so when Jay was the one to unfortunately pass away, it was like, what does that leave for Mark Briscoe? He doesn't have his tag team partner anymore. They thought of him as kind of the lesser of the two in the tag team. What's that? And now look at where he's become, or where he's at. So, and in that regard, it's amazing, right? That's a testament to him putting in the work. It's a testament to whatever, to Tony Khan's willingness to let a guy that maybe isn't a traditional kind of guy come to the forefront, which is great. And that's one of the things I like about AEW. So in that regard, I thought this match was amazing. He took Takeshita to the limit. It took MJF and Don Callis essentially and Takeshita to beat Mark Briscoe, which makes him look very, very strong. And I thought that Briscoe looked really good. And Takeshita is Takeshita. He's that guy, right? So there's no arguing that. That's why he just won the G1 in New Japan. And that's why, he's the alpha of the Don Callis family, which is the biggest factor in AEW, size-wise. Whether they're the biggest draw or biggest storyline, they're definitely the biggest factor size-wise.
It's arguable, yeah.
It's definitely arguable, for sure, no doubt. So, no, I thought this was a very solid main event. Again, I'd never like interference causing, the outcome of a match. But in this regard, because it keeps Briscoe kind of at that top tier and in this program with MJF, and it makes sense, and it's perfect MJF, I didn't really hate it as much as I would normally. So I thought this was really good. What did you think of the main event?
This was so good. And again, it really is a matter of having high expectations for certain wrestlers. And as of right now, in the ring, I have high expectations for Takeshita and Mark Briscoe. And they're like, it's one of the things where I don't think anyone's ever thought, oh, let's do this match. More so just stylistically how they're going to pair it together. But it paired so well together. And Lord have mercy, I miss Takeshita. Like, sir, can y'all just please show one G1 match when he goes over there? He won, so I'm not sure he's going to go over there again. But it really is like, why did y'all take Takeshita? But I'm so glad he's back and he's at full speed. We were talking about this last week where, and I still stand by this, the whole had to go through Takeshita to get to Cal Fletcher was a boo. But and I think everyone realized, how do we get out of this scenario with everybody looking strong? And we do not like screwy finishes, no matter what company, no matter who does them. We work the same energy of screwy finishes. But I do agree with you that this answer was probably the best option. This probably was the best option. And Mark, and I don't, and so. And this is when not being on social media comes in handy, because I didn't know that MBS got married. I'm like, I didn't know he was supposed to be off for a week. So it's like, so everybody, I think it was Tony Schiavone just going off. Talking about, why is he even here? He would be on his honeymoon. Why is he even here? And it's like, okay. Evidently, he don't want to go on a honeymoon. I don't know if that's about your wife, but okay. I'm kidding. I know they're in a crisis. They're not a crisis, but we said it earlier. A lot of people are out right now. So even though MJF probably had time off, it's like, sir, um, as of right now, three of our top people are out.
Well,
That is so,
we will hear MJF's explanation on Dynamite when we get to it.
and it was so good. I no, and he's still
I was
MJF, which I
so
love.
rude, so MJF, but so rude.
Yeah,
Like
bro,
this,
you're what?
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But
Yeah, we will. We don't want to spoil it, but yeah, this was a good answer to that question, and it was a great match. I love both these dudes so much.
agreed. Post match, Ketchner wasn't pleased with the interference of MJF, but Briscoe and MJF can't. They have to be restrained and held apart. MJF yells at Mark Briscoe, pick the time, a place, and even the stipulation. And Briscoe, using all the calm that he can comport, says all out, and he'll get back to him on the stipulation, leaving MJF hanging in the wind. A little MJF, a little dose of his own medicine. Let's put it that way, because MJF usually likes to leave his opponent, wondering and playing mind games. So Briscoe's playing a little bit of mind games here. So that was the end of this week's Collision. I thought it was very solid.
It was.
It's got to be in the C plus B minus area somewhere, maybe even a solid B. It's in that area. When I say a solid show, I don't know if that means a B or a C all the time in my mind, but solid should be C, really, or I don't know, but it's somewhere in that C plus B minus. I'm going to give it a B minus. What about you?
This, like, they pulled out, like, they had some heavy hitters on this show. You have Moxley, you have Tony Storm, and you have MJF, and really
Mm-hmm.
Takeshita too. Like, if you
Yeah.
would just had Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe, it would have been a fine collision. But you pulled out all the stops. Evidently viewership wasn't high, but I'm like, like, let's call a spade a spade. We really didn't we really didn't think y'all were paying attention to Collision like that, but evidently you are. And we got a great show out of it, and then more so when, like, it was like a pop of, oh snap, they're here. It really was they fit on Collision. You know what I'm saying? And, like, it didn't feel like it was out of place, or we're just gonna do it just to do it. It was actually a purpose for them to be on the show, which I love.
Yeah.
So B plus for me. B plus. I'm trying to think of anything, like, nothing really egregious happened that was dumb, so I give it a B plus.
Okay, so we're both in the B bracket. You give it a B plus, I give it a B minus. And that brings us to the end of our Collision review, and we will switch to AEW Dynamite, and Anita will take over for our Dynamite review.
Hi. So this is Dynamite from September 9th. We're like, yes, we're still in Philly. That was fine. It was a good crowd. So I'm playing, but real talk, since they've been in Philly, the crowd has not died down. That crowd has been hot for every freaking show. I'm trying to think of they ever have a low point. They really did it. So that is one of the good things about being in a venue for some time. Sometimes they can be run out of steam, but Philly is forever that wrestling city. So this was really good. We start off with Josh Alexander versus our AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page, and I love how it started off because, like you said, last week it looks like forever ago, but it's only last week where it was the Don Callis family, aka Cal Fletcher, putting doing a brain buster from Hangman through a chair, and then a brain buster from Omega into a table, and leaving Omega out. So it's like, yes, we're not going to start off with a headlock. I'm going to mess you up. So it's like just going bout for bout. I love that, and we are Josh Alexander fans over here, and Josh Alexander having this first match with your world heavyweight champion is a good spot, and he did not shy away from it. He, like Josh, like some people are just destined to wrestle, and Josh Alexander is a good wrestler. Side note, dun, 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 I'm not sure how long this is gonna be, but I'm gonna ride this wave. Brian Danielson is on commentary officially, and it's not because he's forced to because he's hurt. He's retired, so this is a so it's a very nice fresh of air. Real quick, what do you think about Danielson on the mic? I mean, yeah, on commentary.
Yeah, I mean, they made it sound like this is going to be a long-term thing, like this was a new
Yeah,
position. So, in that regard, no, I'm happy for him. I mean, I think he's a good talker. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. And it'll be fun. I mean, he made it clear that they've told him he's not allowed to get involved because he got a little irritated a couple times during the night, and he was like, they made it clear I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm just here to talk, and if I do, I could lose my job. So they did, so yeah, no, I mean, I'm here for it. Anytime I get more Brian Danielson, I'm happy, right? So, and this is one of those times. So, yeah.
yeah, and it makes sense too because like I hate when people are like, "Oh, whatever happened in the past, this didn't happen." No, certain people, aka the Duck Riders, choked him out last year. So no, them feelings are still here. This still freaking hurts. But back to the match. Hangman versus John Alexander. Already, I'm feeling this Hangman title run way more than I felt in his first run, which is crazy because the first run had him versus Adam Cole and him versus Danielson, but for some reason it just feels more grown for lack of a better expression, and I love it. Of course, Heyman has to win. Any thoughts on the match?
Of course, Hangman has to win, she says. I don't know if I think it's of course
Yes,
Hangman has to win.
he's the champion.
I mean, in theory, in a vacuum, Josh Alexander has every bit of business beating Hangman Page for that title. He's every bit as good a wrestler. He's every bit as good a wrestler. He's every bit as good a promo. I'm just talking just when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about when you talk about all the storylines and the booking and all that kind of thing. I was talking about in the vacuum, the two guys in the ring, or, just putting them, on paper against who has what skills and those kind of things. They're both in that same main event picture. Now, obviously, Tony Khan is madly in love with Hangman Page as AEW has become the Hangman Page story. I mean, it's AEW is all about Hangman Page. Heaven forbid you care at all about the other 75 people on your roster.
I feel a little hateration in your voice right now, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Solid match. There's a little hateration in my voice. I mean, I like Hangman, but I just think they put a lot on him, and I don't know that he's like that for me. So, but it is what it is. Match, it was extremely solid. I thought Josh Alexander looked really good, and Hangman Page, this is the kind of, if you want to make him a very dominant champion, he's got to beat top level guys, and Josh Alexander is considered a top level guy who apparently can take loss after loss after loss and still be considered a top level guy. So in that regard, I guess it works. So, I mean, it's a very good way to open Dynamite, to have your, world champion come in and get a big win. It's a strong win over a formidable opponent and a member of the Callis family. We talked just, on our collision discussion about how the Don Callis family is extremely important in AEW at the moment. So beating any of those guys is a big deal. So yeah, this match worked well for me, and these two have good chemistry. I thought it came off really well.
Yeah. So post match, Josh Alexander just belonged to the Don Callis family. So here comes Cal Fletcher, and Don Callis coming down the ramp, talking about he's coming down the ramp and getting booed out of the building. But kudos to Cal Fletcher for still keeping going. And basically, he was like, "So it's crazy because I think we all thought that this match was official, but it really like." I guess it really isn't official until either they don't have different answers. Either TK or they both part agreed to the match, right?
Right.
So Kyle Fletcher came down the ramp and he's like, "Listen, I have a proposal that you have yet to address me on, so please do so now." And classic Heyman, like again, Heyman is in his bag, and he's like, "Listen, when I look at you, I do see myself in 2023. I'll tell you right now that you are not ready. I see a dude with full potential, but can't put on a decent pair of socks. And it's just like, see, that's what I wanted from him. Uncle Lit, that's how a person going to promo would do. And so and the crowd pop for that. It's like, yes, you have to address it. And that was hilarious. And so he's like, yeah, but you are still not ready. And it's like and the crowd's like, listen, I am not you. So come, what's the next one? It's not all out. It is all out.
Yeah.
All out. See,
it's all out.
Yeah. The next one's all out. He's like, and come out loud. It will be man on man. I think we all hear a pause in our head. And I'm going to beat you for the men's AEW World Championship. This was all. I loved all parts of this. All parts of this. Like, there is nothing wrong about none of this. And like I keep saying, Heyman is in his bag, and I love it. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of Hangman. For the opening of a
for the full on hateration voice.
For the opening of a show, but it's okay. And the reality is that this is, in many respects, other than having a live Hangman and setting of the match, it felt like this Kyle Fletcher was very similar to the Kyle Fletcher promo on Collision. Just, he's in the pink suit, he's out, he's kind of yelling, he's spitting, he's all kind of. It felt very similar to me. And in that regard, they need to do a little something to change it up a little bit more, just so that it doesn't feel like we're just seeing kind of visually the same thing. Him and Hangman should be very good. I can't imagine that Kyle Fletcher's beating Hangman Page and that he's going to be, holding two belts. I think it's fairly predictable that Hangman gets the win. But that said, it should be fun. Kyle Fletcher doesn't have bad matches at this point, and Hangman hasn't had a bad match in a while. So it's going to be fun. I mean, I'm definitely here for it. Kyle Fletcher's future is extremely bright, as is Hangman's at the moment, because of his relationship, with Tony Khan and AEW and the way that they booked him. So, I think the match itself should be fun at All Out. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, I imagine Hangman gets a win, but it'll be interesting to see how they play that out.
Yeah. And so next, they show a review of Collision, because again, it was very good. And they show the part of where MJF surprised Mark Briscoe and would brawl out and basically told Mark Briscoe, name the time and the step. Like, and then we cut MJF after Collision, and here's what he had to say. And basically he was like, see, I'm gonna be on my honeymoon. But right after I got married, I made a beeline to the door. And my wife, my newlywed wife said, sir, where are you going on our honeymoon? I'm like, listen, Toots. There is no honeymoon until Mark Briscoe is dead. And I'm like, sir, number one, calling your wife Toots is crazy. Number two, it really isn't that crazy. When you first when y'all first met, you did call her Big Boobies McGee from Long Island. So are we can't really be mad at you're calling your wife Toots. But and then you said it's no honeymoon until Mark Briscoe is dead. It's like, sir, that's a lot.
Did we call her a stupid bitch at some point too, or a dumb bitch too? Like,
did he? What? No.
I thought I heard that at some point too. I'm not seeing it here in the notes that I'm looking at, but I swear I heard that.
He called her Toots, but no, he did not. Okay, let me get back to what I do know. And so he's like, and so yes, he says that, and then he was like, come all out. No matter what you say, do I take this position to get rid of Mark Briscoe? I do. And it's like, sir, what? This is why you're a generational talent, but it's also why you're crazy as hell. like it's so much intensity Wait 1 minute.
Uh, so she was talking about Mark Briscoe.
But yeah, sorry,
Okay,
conversation.
okay.
But
It's all good.
but yeah, and so he's like, I'm married to vengeance, Mark. So I left the door. I left the house, and with a smile on my face, I do, I do. I watched the collision and walking down the aisle, and so it's like, you're crazy. But no, so he did not call her a dumb bitch. He did not call her a dumb bitch. Thank God, because like I don't know. I don't care if it's kayfabe. You're not coming back from that. You're not coming back from that. I will beat your ass. I will, as your wife, I will beat your ass if you call me that. So very glad he didn't overstep. But yeah, and I'm glad they actually. And so again, I'm not really into what's the word? I'm not into social media more so the nuances of MJF's life like that, where I know what's happening, and more so, I think he likes it that way because MJF is probably the closest thing to kayfabe that we're going to get in a minute, right? He actually likes to live out the character, but this was a minute and 26 promo. It was so freaking good, and this like you said, this rivalry, yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. It really felt like, oh, MJF, who do you want to face? Mark Briscoe. Okay, cool. But it's been thoroughly entertaining. Now I will say this. I think it's only one step. I need light. I need light. There you go. It's only in my mind. It's only one stipulation. This should be dog collar match. This should like it has escalated to a dog collar match, and I think that would be so. And and thinking about it, MJF would love that because when him and CM Punk did it, and after he won, he was like, I had the best singles dog collar match. He actually like he's like I'm gonna give the tag team one to the Briscoes. So he also so he likes so I think he'll be all on board for that, and that'll be so great. But this was a great promo. Your thoughts?
I mean, you can tell that MJF or that Mark Briscoe is in MJF's head. MJF is much more fired up than normal. He
Yeah,
was MJF is usually a little more reserved, a little more calculating, a little more like too cool for this. But here he was definitely fired up. He had some choice words for his I guess now ex-wife. Or, I don't know. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure it's all just whatever. But said some unkind things as he left and had to take care of Mark Briscoe. Yeah, no, I mean, for MJF, this is fine. I mean, like you said, this feud kind of came out of nowhere, but I like it because it definitely raises Mark Briscoe's profile, which is awesome. And yeah, the match at All Out should be amazing. So I'm here for all of it.
yeah. All right. Next up, we get a backstage promo. Yeah, backstage promo. It's crazy because it's not like in the hallway. It's actually in the catering. We actually see what catering is, and that's insane. But it's Renee Paquette interviewing the Young Bucks. Like, so they're going to be in the main event, and it's going to be a money match. Whoever wins gets $500,000. But at least this has a purpose because after Young Bucks lost at All In, they've been down on their luck. They've been in the hole. They've been getting they've been getting disrespected. So it's like, yeah, I think y'all should really want to win this match. But so they're like, Renee, they're like, listen, we win. I'll take this 100. I'm gonna go eat. And so they go into the ring, into the ring. They go in. They try to sit by somebody. We see the Dark Order. Like, yeah, where the freak have they been? They dismiss them. They go to Brent. What's his name? Brandon.
Brandon Cutler, yeah.
There we go. I'm like, they go to Brandon Cutler, longtime friend, BTE. If you and side note, if y'all haven't known, BTE is back with the Young Bucks. Oh my God, it's nostalgia the best way possible. Cause it's like, yes, why did y'all leave? Boo. But even Brandon Cutler was like, screw y'all. It's like, oh, how have y'all fallen? But here comes John. But here comes John Moxley because he is their partner for this match. He's like, listen, in more or less words, listen. I need y'all to be on the top of y'all A game. All right, y'all are. I need y'all to remind. I need y'all to remember who the freak y'all are. Okay, no matter what, y'all are young bucks. And if y'all win, y'all can get this money, and then like I think he said you'll get. I will give you the entire winnings, and then Mark and Mark Matt and Nick was like, yeah, we're gonna go to Vegas, we're gonna flip that, we're gonna get our stuff back. It's like, yes, and so what? I'm coming. Here it is. There's my house. Okay. But yeah, this was a fun little segment. And like I said, it was very nice that it wasn't in the hall. It was actually in catering, which is crazy. It's like this, I'm not sure whose idea it was, but it's like, yeah, remember these guys? We do love them. We do miss them. You can put them, if nothing, put them on Collision for heaven's sakes. But yeah, I like this segment. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, it felt kind of very BTE-ish for a kind of a little bit like that to me, with them just kind of moving around, seeing people and doing whatever they do. It's good to see the Dark Order. It's good to see Brandon Cutler. Moxley's too good for money. He's too good for titles. He's just here for self-righteousness, I guess. Like to prove that he's a better human being than everybody because those things don't matter to him. Like, give me a fucking break. Like anybody really thinks Jon Moxley isn't getting paid to be here? You know what I'm saying? Like anyone that doesn't, like it's clearly his job. He's not here because he likes to beat people up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not even doing. To be fair, and when I say this, whatever it is, what it is, he's not even doing real fighting in that regard. Like, if Jon Moxley or whoever the man really is, I don't even know, is that his real birth name? Like Jon Moxley?
I think his name is
whoever the man was, really was really like, I want to fight. He would have done what CM Punk did and at least try to have a real fight. Now, to be fair, CM Punk was unsuccessful, and that's why he's back in wrestling. But, so it is what it is, right? I mean, so, you can kind of keep your self-righteous Jon Moxley character to yourself. I'm not a big fan of that. You're here for the money. You're here for the titles. I'm not naive. So, but no, I thought this was fun. The Dark Order, the Young Bucks are very charismatic on screen, and they're fun. They make things light and fun, and this was another example of that. So I enjoyed this.
Yeah. All right, and then we have our next match, which is the women's tag team match of Mercedes Moné and Emi Sakura versus Riho and Alex Windsor. Now, we haven't seen Emi and Riho in definitely a year, maybe two, but definitely it's been a minute. And there was some ring rust. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. It was some ring rust, but thankfully, Alex and Mercedes was there to kind of smooth over the harsh spots. But it was still a fun match. And all in all, Riho and Alex Windsor gets the win as they both do a submission move, and Emmy and Mercedes Moné taps out. And the look on Mercedes' face after she rolled out, like, I'm like, what? Like, what happened? It's like, sir, ma'am, like you don't know who Riho is. Stop it. Stop the cap. So, but that was hilarious. But like I said, it was a rough match because Riho and Emmy has not been, well, I know definitely Riho's been injured, hasn't been wrestling in a minute, but it was still fun. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised here that Emmy takes the pin, or gets to, has to tap out. I guess, she's the one that can take the loss in the match, I suppose, right? So I thought this was fine. I mean, Rio looked good. She looked solid. And, Mercedes Moné takes a loss without taking a loss. And that, makes Riho look very strong and Mercedes look a little bit weak, so that, fully buys into more of their their storyline and Rio, potentially having an upper hand in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, even you going.
No, just no. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, doesn't surprise me that Rio essentially got the win. And yeah, I think it looks good. It keeps Rio hot, and it keeps Mercedes still protected because she didn't take the loss. And yeah, Alex Winter comes out looking good.
Yeah, no, it is crazy that even though Emmy was technically the legal person, they had Mercedes tap out. So I think we're not done with Alex Windsor facing Mercedes, which I'm not mad at because, like I said, we ran out of women that y'all are hyping up. But I think we should just kind of put some distance in there. I will say that. And then we get a hype package for FTR versus CNC, Christian and Adam Copeland. And this was very much so done. I'm not sure who they hired for video packages, but they have done like they what's the word? They definitely elevated the game. They definitely put more money into it. And I'm all for it. And then you have FTR coming out, and they're like, this was supposed to be a dream match, but now it's just going to be a crap show of us just beating up two old people. And then for some reason, I'm not sure why Edge and Christian, well, yeah, Adam Copeland and Christian aren't here, but they're like, but to replace confronting Christian and Adam Copeland, FTR goes into the crowd and says, well, because they're not here, we're gonna fight the fans. So they go into the crowd and started yelling at fans, and fans were just laughing like, "What? Are y'all serious? Are y'all serious?" And then we're in Philly. Y'all are in Philadelphia. Listen, I went to a Jaguars Philadelphia game, right? Dumb emotional crackheads are ruthless, and they are dumb. And I have never disliked a group of fans so quick and in my life. I can't stand Philly fans. And this is before they won a championship. Like, how are y'all this hyped up and y'all haven't even won nothing yet? I don't understand the plight. But I said to say this, like for y'all, I'm not like, listen. I know Dax and Cash are men; they can handle themselves. But you went into a sea of fans trying to fight people, and then the crowd, and then the security, like I'm not sure what the thought process was of this idea. And so they're going from fan to fan, and fans are just laughing. People are trying to confront them, and then the crowd, and then the security comes in and tries to break stuff up. And this is why Brian Danielson. There was no belief that it wasn't going to work, but this was proof of why Danielson on commentary is going to work, because he said what we all thought. No clue why this is happening. It's like yes, thank you. We have no clue why this is happening. This has no bearings on what on why y'all are facing Christian and Adam Copeland. So this was a thing. It was just a thing that happened on the show. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this left me really flat. I mean, I like FTR, but I mean, other than the big Stoke part in the beginning, like. Once it switched from that and it became Dax, like, I'm going to fight the crowd, when he's really not going to fight a fan. Like, he's in their face yelling at him, but nothing happens the first time. He's in the face yelling at the next fan, nothing happens. It's like, yeah, of course not. And then he's in the face of the third fan, and it looks like it might get really physical, but then, of course, as you well know, it does not, because you can't actually attack a fan. Now, if you want to make it interesting, put out some wrestler that nobody's ever seen before, or someone that's willing to actually take a beating, and make it look like you're actually attacking a fan, because we already know that you're not going to really do it. So, I understand that, I need to personally be more in the kayfabe mindset when I watch this stuff, because when I'm not, some of it irritates me, because I already know you can't fight a fan. Like, insurance-wise, you just can't do it. So you can try and make it look as crazy as you want, but it's not going to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, there's really no there's not really a lot of unpredictability or really, oh, I thought someone's going to actually do something like, and of course nobody really does. So you look even stupider. So, for me, this segment really, if you don't have Copeland and Cage to do this segment with in some way, shape, or form, even on a Titantron or something on Titantron or something, then don't do it. Then just leave this in the back and cross it off the script, right? I mean, I didn't need this, so.
You know what it feels like? Either last week or 2 weeks ago, when FTR was coming down the ring, and for some reason they stopped that one fan, and the fan kept calling Dax a bitch. It felt like, oh, let's do that again. It's like, you can't. This is why you can't manufacture moments.
Exactly.
Just leave moments alone, because that's what that fan was on. But that was not a Philly situation, even though I just call them emotional crackers, which they are. That was just a one fan situation. You can't bank on that happening again. But yeah,
Exactly.
all right. And so next up, we have a backstage segment with first off, the Gates of Agony, and more so, it was Ricochet, and Ricochet wants a gentleman's agreement with the Hurt Syndicate that we call it, they'll leave their boys in the back, and it'll be a one-on-one match with Shelton versus Ricochet. Not sure why y'all believe this, but okay, sure. And so you get to Shelton, and Shelton was like, sure, I'll leave my boys in the back. I'm gonna beat your goofy. It's like, sir. I shouldn't love that you're going this hard for a promo about beating up Ricochet, but I did. It was very much so entertaining. Any thoughts on this quick little backstage segment?
Not really. I mean, it was fine. I mean, it worked well to hype up the match for what it was. I mean,
it did. And then we get the match of Ricochet and Shelton Benjamin. Look. I'll be the first to say, when you're like, Bobby Lashley's sweet spot isn't tag teams, it's singles. I agree with you, but I was still in the boat of, okay, let's be a tag team till we find something good for him to do. That was my mindset. Like, okay, like right now, all the single championships are all wrapped up. So the next best case scenario is them being a tag team, which is fine. But man, this match, like, it didn't feel that long ago. Shelton and MVP were by themselves, and Shelton was doing these matches, right? And we were like, oh snap, he still got it. But it feels too long, because him versus Ricochet was, oh my god, it was so freaking good, man. It was so good. We start off with Ricochet going at Shelton because that smart move. And then he does, and then, like, I love this part because he does his inverted flip over the top rope and lands his feet, and he gives Taz a pound, and it's like, sometimes you gotta pop off and show people like you still got it. He hasn't been doing that move a lot lately because he's a heel, and it's kind of hard to do that babyface thing when you're a heel. But it really was like, stop. You did that. And then the crowd chanting everybody's bald. And it's like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all have issues. But then Ricochet does a 450, and Shelton just kicks out like with a force. And I love Ricochet's face of, oh shoot, I should, because before he what's the face? Before he covered Shelton with the 450, he wants to talk his head off, and it's like, you should have just covered. And so when Shelton just kicked out with a vengeance, and the crowd was like, you effed up, because he's like, oh shoot, now you about to get hemmed up. And that's exactly what happened, where Shelton just did him freaking Ricochet up and started going to town on his behind, and that was hilarious. And then Ricochet came back a little bit. Well, he was quick. He gave some quick kicks, and then it was like a knees and kicks all over the doggone place. And Shelton's in a good position where, even though he's big in AEW, he was considered a cruiserweight in WWE. So he knows both sides, and that worked beautifully with Ricochet. And I like, this was so freaking delicious. But unfortunately, like I said, whoever thought the gentleman's agreement was going to happen, yeah, I haven't been watching wrestling in a long time. So here comes what's his name? Bishop to come in and trip up Shelton to give no, I'm sorry. So the end was Ricochet got his golden scissors and tries to stab Shelton, and Shelton gets the scissors and snaps it in half. And these emotional crackheads booed. I'm like, y'all do realize this was not a no DQ. This is like if Shelton uses the scissors, he would get disqualified. We don't want that. So let's not just let boo because he didn't use the scissors. But like I said, here comes the gets Agony to distract them, and that gives Ricochet a chance for the 1, 2, 3. I always put all together. Post match, here comes MVP with his cane trying to help, but Bishop is too fast. Then here comes Bobby, and they all try to scrabble up, but the security comes in and they're like, "Listen, y'all can't do this. We want the match at All Out." So yeah, even though it ended in a straight finish, this was so delicious, and I have missed Shelton, and I have missed Ricochet, like more so Ricochet too, because it's been a minute since a Ricochet match. We didn't know who was gonna win. He's had great matches with AR Fox, but we kind of knew who was gonna win, and other matches where we knew who was gonna win. But this one was a solid match. We did know who was gonna win. It was so freaking good. Your thoughts?
I enjoyed this. I thought it was very solid. I mean, both men are extremely talented wrestlers, and they left it all in the ring. I thought Shelton Benjamin showed why he can still go well past 40, and Ricochet showed why he's been being pushed. So, these are two guys that I think didn't really get to reach their potential. Definitely Shelton Benjamin in WWE, and they definitely seem to be getting a bigger push and more of the spotlight here in AEW. So I'm happy to see that. And yeah, no, I enjoyed this a lot. Bobby Lashley with Toa Leona at the end; those two were definitely going at it. That interests me. I want to see the two of them in a singles match. Um, and yeah, I mean, I thought this worked really well for everything. The only thing that disappointed me was that Ricochet got the win, but it makes sense. It
Yeah,
makes sense storyline wise. I mean, it could have gone either way, but it makes sense to me why Ricochet got the win. But no, I enjoyed this very much.
yeah, yeah. And then we get a Hook promo where he's on a pool, or he's on an outside bench with a fireplace, and I appreciate it. I picked more so. This is why. So he was like, "Listen, so I don't. So after I got there, and Samoa Joe explained to me what happened, I get it. Next man, I'm an athlete. Next man up. They did replace my body before it was cold to get them trios championships, but I understand it. It was next man. It was time. They couldn't wait. So yeah, I have no beef with Samoa Joe. I have no beef with the ops, but I think it's time for me to do it on my own. Or is it Hook? And it's like it feels like a Darby Allen film if Logan Paul directed it. Where it feels like, sir, you are not. We do not care that you're mysterious. You do not do douchey right. And it's like I don't think you matter this much to have this kind of promo. There's a lot going on that you don't have for this promo to work. So, like I said, I appreciate that the split between the ops and him wasn't like, how it's like, I don't understand. How do you not understand? It was very simply explained. So I appreciate him not being mad, but yeah, I don't like how this was positioned. I don't care about you like this, sir. I don't. Especially if you're being by yourself, I really don't care more. But like I said, it was. I appreciate the explanation. Your thoughts?
Um, I first of all say we didn't need this, right? For several reasons. One, it didn't really do anything. I guess it kind of told us. I guess for the apology, but I don't need to hear that here. We don't need a whole segment to hear that of his own. Two, you're in like this plush setting, but you're still in your sweats and a t-shirt. Like, I mean, if you're plush setting, at least be in like slacks and a button-down shirt or a suit or something
Yeah.
like that goes with the ambiance. But again, Hook is too cool for anything, right? So even in a plush penthouse setting where he's looking all, he's still, I still wear my sweats and my shirt, right? Like my t-shirt. So, and yeah, great that you don't, that you're apologizing for being whatever, and that you understand, and that you're going to be on your own. On your own really worries me, because I don't know. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. And then the whole, or will I? I don't know exactly what you're trying to hint around about. The implication would be that you're going to have somebody with you. I don't know who that would be. I'm kind of curious to see who it might be. So I guess, if the goal was to leave us wanting to know who that may be, they did that. At the same time, they could have just scratched this off the script for this episode of Dynamite as well. We didn't need this. This could have been done in a totally different way. So, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's perfect words to say. And next, we have a women's Philly street fight, because why the hell not? So here comes Timeless Tony Storm, and she is dressed. She has her black overalls on. She come in as the Sandman. She takes off the sign from off the freaking building, and she got her little trash can of little treats. She gets a bear, and she starts smashing over her head like the Sandman from ECW. And she has a kendo stick, and actually was signed by the Sandman. That was cool. And what is wrong with you? And here comes Sky Blue. And it's like, okay. At first, we all were like, why are we doing this match? We know that you challenged Tekla, and I guess you really can't face her until the match. But it's like, huh? But then the match started. And it's like, what in the world is wrong with both of y'all? And so so they start off crazy as ham fat. You call it Tony Storm goes with the kendo sticks, and then somehow Sky Blue has a freaking nail gun and starts nail gunning Tony Storm's butt, Tony Storm's boobs, and then Tony Storm's pussy. And it's like, what the frick are we what the freak are we doing? And I'm sorry, I should have said crotch, but the P word came to mind first. But it really is like, what is wrong with y'all? And then of course, what do you call it? The crowd starts chanting, "You sick." And it's like, yes, this is very much so appropriate, because who thinks of this? And then Tony Storm gets the freaking gun and then starts stapling, and then staple freaking Sky Blue's crotch. And it's like, what are we doing? And then gives her a hip attack, and then it gets the outside, and then like, for whatever reason, there is a table full of rat traps. And I think it was Danielson. Oh, I smell a rat. And then Tony Storm puts Sky Blue's finger in one of them and just snaps, and it's like, oh, see. I'm not sure how that works, but I don't want to find out. And then she starts eating cheese, and then she offers to the commentary table, and then the crowd starts chanting, "We want cheese, we want cheese." And then she tries to do a power bomb, but Sky Blue reversed it, and of course it's an AEW table, so that mother sucker doesn't freaking break, but it still created a great visual of, even though the table didn't break, Tony Storm slides right into the middle and right onto Sky Blue, and Sky Blue says, "Hold on to the ring apron," acting like a crazy person. And that was a very good visual, even though, like, who is cutting the tables for AEW? Because let me tell you, it only takes one time the table don't break. I'm not doing another table spot. I'm not doing another table spot until I visually see you make sure this table don't breaks on me the next time. I'm not doing it no more. But all in all, Tony Storm gets the run. Any thoughts on this crazy behind match?
No, I mean, it was supposed to be, homage to ECW, and they definitely hit all those spots. Tony Storm and her Sandman outfit was very entertaining. The stuff with the stapling of the nipples and the other areas of Tony Storm was definitely a little extreme. I mean, it's a little maybe beyond. I'm not necessarily like. It's funny because sometimes I like Extreme Wrestling, and sometimes I don't. It just depends on how it's done. This is a terrible thing to say. It's going to come off as probably sexist, but for some reason, it's more comfortable when it's men than it is when it's with than women. I don't know why. It's like the violence, the extreme violence with women feels more like ooh cringy than it does with men. I don't know why. I guess just because you're used to more extreme violence with men than you are with women. Violence in general with men than you are with women, but the extreme stuff, it's like oh dude. But yeah, there was a lot of that in this, and Tony Storm got the win as she should. Storm Zero through the chair was cool. And yeah, I mean, this was definitely, like I said, paying homage to ECW, and I thought it came off really well. Sky Blue, who I don't really care for, I thought actually looked really good here and held her own and did what she needed to do. Um, not she's not growing on me, but I've seen her evolution as a wrestler. She's definitely gotten better and she's getting better. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this.
No, like real talk. This reminded me of why we love Sky Blue so much. This was like she had a tag team match with Julia, and it was a street fight, and that's when the whole "you sick freak" started on Rampage. And like like you said, she got hurt. So like let's remind people this is why she was making moves, and this was a great reminder. It was post match. Of course, the Triangle of Madness comes in to attack Tony Storm, which leads to Statlander and Hater coming out. They try to help us. Hater actually clothesline Statlander. Oops, my bad. And what gives the Triangle of Madness time to get out of the crowd and stand tall. It was a nice post match. Just remember that it's a 4-way, and these are the women that are in the 4-way. It's fine. Any thoughts on the post match stuff?
No, not really. I mean, it's kind of what you expected. They're hyping up
Yeah.
All Out, and it definitely did that. And again, on Dynamite, they like to have at least their one obligatory woman segment where they put all of them together, and this kind of poured into what happened next because then they had a bunch of there are a few women's segments, a couple of women's vignette or promos after this too. So this is clearly their half hour, 40-minute women's block. And no, I mean they got everyone in they need to, and it's building up to the match at All Out.
It was fine. Real quick, so I think before the match, they had Don Callis and Cal Fletcher walking to their limo, and I guess they're like, "What are your thoughts on what Adam Hangman Page said?" They're like, "We're fine. We always have a plan." And it's like, why did we have this moment? This was not. This time could have went someplace else. Honestly, like there was no need for this. It really wasn't. They didn't say anything. But any thoughts?
Nope, not really. Just one of those things where it's like we got a 2-hour show to fill, and we think that for some reason this is going to do is worth putting on the show. No, it's one of those things that could have been crossed out of the script or left on the cutting floor when they were, deciding the show in the beginning. So,
Like it really could have. But and so we go until like you said, here comes the other backstage segment with the women, and we have Renee Paquette with Willow. It feels like forever that we've seen her. A week is too long. But here comes Harley Cameron with her guitar, and she asks Willow, what key? G. It's like great. C sharp it is. It's like go on for it. And so she basically is telling Willow that we know Statlander made some poor choices, but she really is great. If you give her another chance, I will draw a cat on your face. Cat on your face. Cat on your face. I will draw a cat on your face. And you just love Renee and Willow are generally loving this song, but we had to put a stop to it. And Willow was like, look, I love you. And a cat on my face would be fun. But honestly, with Statlander and me, I just don't trust her. And she's like, I say this with my whole heart. Watch your back. And so Willow leaves, and Renee and Holly together sing "Cat on Your Face," and then Renee was like, "It was still a good song. It was one of your best, though. I think it was." I Harley is a national treasure. I'm not sure what you do to keep her here, but you better keep her here because she's a national treasure, and I love her. And I love that Statlander's like, I love that Willow's like, listen, it's been too long, and we've been through too much with this chick, so ain't no time to be acting like, like, listen, she's married, all this stuff hasn't happened. So this was a very fun segment I loved, and it kind of progressed the story a little bit. Any questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed this. I mean, I want to see Willow and Marina Shafir, which was the first part of this promo, essentially, which was Willow saying that Marina needs to get her ass kicked, and I totally agree. So I'm here for that. I want to see Willow do that. Harley Cameron might be the best thing going on AEW television, male or female at the moment. Definitely female. And every time she's on my screen, I'm excited to see her. Cat on the face is hysterical. And her with her guitar, I think, is gold. So more Harley Cameron, please. Anytime I can see Harley, I'm excited. Yeah, no, I thought this was fun. I like Willow and Harley Cameron together.
Yeah,
Especially because Willow's personality is kind of upbeat and fun and
is
happy-go-lucky, and Harley
infectious.
Cameron fits that, right? So together, I think
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm definitely here for it.
it was really good. We're gonna have a little mini tournament to see who's gonna face Okada for his unified championship. Michael Oku is in here, but we know Takeshi's winning. I think we all know Takeshi's winning. Not sure why we have to do a tournament for him to win, but yeah, Takeshi's winning. If Takeshi doesn't win, what the freak are we doing? Like, why are we dragging out Takeshita? I'm sorry, yeah, Takeshita versus Okada out. Why are we dragging this out? Do the match. Do the match. But any thoughts on the bracket?
Um, no, I mean, Michael Oku is what it is. If you know him, you know him, and if you don't, it's not a surprise. Anthony Bowen's getting at least included here is something. Obviously, he's losing to Takeshita. You can tell by the lineup that it's got to be Okada versus Takeshita because they've been hinting to that. And this is I guess, the way to get to it because they're both in the Don Callis family without, Don Callis saying you guys wrestle each other, right? So, yeah, I mean, with considering the lack of unpredictability, it is what it is. I think Bowens versus Takeshita could be really good. Mordos versus Dorado should be fun, and we'll see what ends up happening. All I hope for is that Takeshita beats Okada and takes that title from him when that happens.
Such a hater, sir. Such a hater. But
This is
when
okay.
it happens, it will definitely be it won't be clear cut. I don't know who wins that. But so now it's time for the main event. A 10-man tag for $500,000. Wait, yeah, $500,000.
What about what
But
about what about the little segment before that where Nick and Matthew are now Nicholas Lee
yeah,
Matthew
so
and
that's
Matthew
so that
Ron John?
so that was their entrance into the ring, and they don't have the Young Buck music. They've played the original AEW Dynamite music, which was a banger. Why did y'all change this? Like, real talk. Why did y'all change this song? I love that. It's a go, hey, nah, color for the so it's not, and the boom, it's the boom, it's the boom. It was a good hook. It was all excited, and now it's some. I don't like it. I like seeing it. I like, boom. I like, here comes the boom, whatever. Like, that's why, because Adam Cole's not out. You got rid of the boom, whatever. All right, anyway. And like you said, we putting government names on a Titantron now. It's not Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. The Young Bucks is Matthew Molassie and Nicholas Molassie. I'm like, why would y'all do that? Listen, I'm not to hate.
Matthew's middle name is Ron John. Matthew Ron John Massey. What kind of a middle name is Ron
I don't
John?
know, but listen, to put government's names on the Titantron. What are we? And then, like, I'm not hating on your last name, but Molassie is definitely not a wrestler's name. Some people have that wrestler's name where it's like, yeah, they're gonna chant it, it's gonna be awesome. I'm pretty sure they're teenagers. They're like, we can't, this can't be our name. We gotta change it. We gotta change it. We gotta change it. And so yeah, as SP3 said it, how do you go any lower than your government name on the Titantron? They have to win this. But surprise, surprise, it was a great match. Even though they're bums outside the ring, they are now bums in the ring. They like I said, they tagged with Claudio and Moxley, and it was Brodito and the Ops to challenge them. And listen, Brodito are growing more and more together. That day, when Brody King finally does the Macarena, that's gonna be such a huge pop when he finally does the Macarena with Bandito. It's like, come on, you just one time. Yeah, I can't wait for that day. I cannot wait for that day. But yes, great hitting. You can tell Claudio tried to swing Brody King. He got like 3 swings. So I was like, all right, I showed off. That's enough. he just tossed it like, oh, you a big boy. And but all in all, through cheating, Matthew and Nicholas have got the 1, 2, 3. They got the money. They sprinted towards that bag and got the cash. The bad guys won. Any thoughts on the match?
Just exciting and fun. Again, this is one of those where you got a lot of things going on. It's hard to keep track of everything that happens, but a lot of very solid wrestling. The Young Bucks are, what they are. They're one of the best wrestlers. They're 2 of the best wrestlers on the planet, and maybe the best tag team besides FTR going at the moment. Obviously, Claudio is that guy. Brody King and Bandito are the tag team champions at the moment. Like you said, every time I see them, they look better and better. They look like they're gelling together more and more. For 2 guys that are definitely singles wrestlers in a Frankenstein tag team, they're looking really good. So, and I like this. I like them as tag team champions. I don't know how long they'll be tag team champions, but for the moment, they're doing a good job. I enjoyed this. I wasn't surprised that the Bucks and the Death Riders got to win. I think it's probably fitting for the story. Matt and Nicholas need to get a win. Rod and Todd Flanders need to get a win. And so, here is a good spot for them to get a win. I enjoyed all this. I thought this was good.
Really good. And so as Nicholas and Matthew are counting the money, Brody King are behind them, and they start squabbling up the ramp. And then you have you only have Moxley and the Ops in the ring, but here comes Darby sprinting like a madman. Like I'm not sure, it was like 1.5 seconds from the ramp to the ring, just slides in and just jumps on Moxley's back and just starts raking at him. It's like, sir, and it was crazy. And so they're squabbling, they're fighting, and a hooded figure just bow Darby in the back of the head. Who could it be? I thought it was Gay Kid. I really thought it was Gay Kid for a minute, but no, it's Daniel Garcia. No, why? We really didn't think it was gonna. We really thought we really didn't know it was gonna happen.
No, why?
We really didn't think it was gonna happen.
Danny.
I love Danielson though, because like that, like we kept saying that this was.
Fuck you, Danny.
What? No, what is?
That was the chant that they were
chanting. That? I missed that. No, we did it. But I did love the confusion on Danielson's face. Like, I don't understand why he's doing this. And it's like, sir, you haven't been here for a minute. He didn't go with you the first time. He had to go with somebody. And so Daniel Garcia starts beating up Darby, and he tries to do a foot stomp to Darby on the chair that was set by Marina. Not sure how he missed, but he missed. He missed. I guess he can't see because he real life thought he hit that until Moxley came behind him and said, "You gotta do that again." Moxley was like, "I'm not sure what you thought you did, but you missed that chair. You gotta do that again." So he gets Darby and he does it again. And so Daniel Garcia is finally a Death Rider Look, I'm just glad they did not prolong this. My fear was we all knew it was going to happen. I thought they were going to do it at All Out. I'm like, yo, nope. The better decision is to do it here. It is because like I don't think it would have got the pop y'all wanted to get at All Out. So I thought it was a very good decision to do it on Dynamite, and hopefully this elevates Garcia more. I'm not gonna say he's been in a rut, but it has been like you need some help, baby. You need to like we're not sure what to do next. So hopefully this works out for him. All in all, this was a very entertaining Dynamite. Wrestling wise, this was so good. This was so good. Oh, and the only thing egregious was like some spots that were not that like they were just not needed. They were boring. Like, why are you here? But this was a but all in all, I was thoroughly entertained. I'm going to give this. Trying to think before I get it. Solid B. Yeah, yeah, solid B, solid B. Your thoughts on the post match stuff and Dynamite and overall?
Nah, the post match stuff is what it is. I mean, I think it's interesting. It's a way to get a lot of people involved. You got a lot of storylines going on here. Everyone's kind of intertangled with each other. For me, I think this is the first time that Daniel Garcia has actually been interesting to me, just because I'm curious to see what it looks like. Him with the Death Riders. It gives him a little bit of personality to a certain extent. I wasn't necessarily sure what I wanted him to do, but I'm glad that this is what came of it, and I kind of like the way it came out here. So we'll see. I think as much as there is a potential for a Moxley vortex, I think Claudio's kind of caught in it a little bit. But and I hope Garcia, for his sake, doesn't. I don't necessarily care one way or the other because I'm not really a Daniel Garcia fan. But I hope the best for the guy. I mean, I don't wish him any ill will. So in that regard, if this raises his profile, then good for him. And I'm just glad, like you said, that they didn't drag it out too long. And I think this is probably a good spot for him. I think I like him better as a heel. I think that's where his sweet spot is. His personality tends to lean a little more heelish than it does facish. So here he can be a bad guy, and I think he fits well with the Death Riders. So he's their kind of style of fighter, and he's got that kind of attitude too. So I think he fits well. So I'm interested to see what happens with all of that. Darby and Moxley is going to be good. They continue to hype that up, and this works for that. So, yeah, all the way around, I thought it was solid. Much like with the women's segment, this is a segment to try to get all your big guys, big men, all kind of on the screen at one time. And it all worked as a main event. So I enjoyed it. Overall, the show, I mean, other than the Hook promo that I thought was kind of egregious, and the other segment that I thought we could have left on the
Kyle going into the limo, like why we have this? Yeah,
right. Yeah, we didn't need that. I gave Collision a B minus. This is definitely better than Collision to me, so I think it's a B plus or A minus. I'll go A minus. I liked it. I thought it was a very solid show.
Yeah.
Wise, I thought the wrestling was really good. This was, like I said, basically one promo off of being an A paper. I mean, that's the way I see it. So.
You just did that so Dynamite could win, you punk.
No, I didn't. I did not. I swear to God. The wrestling was really good. The main event was really good. It had all your big guys in it. It had a kind of an unpredictable thing because, like you said, you thought it was Gabe Kidd. The show opened strong. And then we had a solid women's segment. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. The only thing that I thought was egregious was the Hook stuff. And if you only got, what is an A paper, right? An A paper is like 90%. So one thing egregious is, probably about 90%. So, I thought this was an A minus. I'm giving it an A minus. I'm sticking with it.
What? All right, fine. You announce it then, oh punk.
So this week, I guess because I wanted them to
win,
AEW Dynamite gets the win again. Though two solid shows, neither of them left anything lacking, in my opinion. There were a couple of things that could have been cut out of both shows, but other than that, very strong shows. If you didn't see either of them and you're an AEW fan, go back and watch them. there was solid
It
stuff
was
on both
never.
shows.
It hadn't been this close in a minute. I will definitely say that it has not been this close in a minute.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And yeah, let's see. So before we get out of here, we will do a little bit of housekeeping. I'll take that down. Join us every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern for the cookout, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. Come for the wrestling and stay for the chaos. Every Friday night, Anika watches SmackDown live starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes she might have somebody with her, but recently it has been Anika solo. She'll give you her real time reactions and opinions to the show, and you can get stuff like people screaming in the background that AJ Lee is there. By the way, I gotta find out who was that on that clip. Is that your
was my
sister
niece.
or
I
your
told you
niece? Okay, someone was extremely
that. I
happy.
told you when it happened, she was gonna go off. I can't show the original because she was in her pajamas, but I'm like, I can see. I can. Her yelling was enough. Her yelling was enough.
How old is your niece?
My niece is 17, but she remembers stuff since she remembers stuff when she was 5 because she's like, so how was wrestling real if they were doing a whole promo about her being mad at CM Punk, but now they're married? I'm like, you were 5. How do you remember that?
All right, let's see. Every Saturday morning, as you're here with us now, we have the Winner's Circle bright and early, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we review Collision and Dynamite, and we grade the show, and the show with the highest grade, is the winner this week. I was just accused of giving my grade higher because I wanted Dynamite to win. I mean, in the regard that I wanted Dynamite to win is that I thought Dynamite was a little bit better show this week than Collision. So yes, in that regard, I guess I did want Dynamite to win. But join us every Saturday morning for Winner's Circle. If you scan this QR code, that will take you to Linktree, and from Linktree you can get to all of our social media from one location. We are on all of the social media platforms that you see on the screen. So you can check us out there individually, or like I said, you can scan the QR code and get them all from Linktree, or get to them all from Linktree. And last but not least, if you want to listen to the audio version of the Cookout podcast, you can catch it on these podcast platforms. If you don't have time to sit and watch us, or you just want to listen to us while you're off doing other stuff, you can check those out. Thanks to Dolores, they are up on. I don't know how current they are, but there are plenty of episodes up there for your listening enjoyment. So you can go back and listen to all the previous ones, old ones from 3 years ago. We've been doing this for a long time, so
It's
there's
crazy.
there's a lot to go back and listen to. You can listen to the evolution of the people on this show as far as
Yeah.
opinions and so on. So, unless you got anything else to say, without further ado, we'll cut out the lights and say peace.
Bye.